Hey everyone, welcome to this Force Friday. Very special Friday, actually, right? Because it is the last Friday of 2021. Pretty challenging year, I think, for most of us, obviously with COVID and all. I know I've had my challenges, most definitely. As some of you may know, I moved and I've dealt with definitely a lot of issues with moving into my new house, which are still not taken care of. So challenging year. I'm looking forward to 2022, and working with you guys and to continually keep doing these Force Fridays, which on a side note, by the way, I want to remind all of you that we are always open to suggestion. I want to make sure that you guys are getting the information that you want, right? That you want to learn. So you can either send an email to me or Mrityunjay or Swenley. I'm just Mike at drawingforce.com. So pretty easy to get in touch with me. And yeah, send me your suggestions, right? We have taken other suggestions from the audience before through email that have become live Force Friday events, okay? So yeah, please do so. So today is the last video of the series of, what is it to draw in these quick studies. 20 minutes is going to be our max. Obviously, you can take Force and do drawings that take 3 hours. That's totally up to you. In fact, I think we're going to do some more of that in the new year, maybe try to push more towards finished art so you guys can see where this can all go. But today, like I said, we're going to work on the 20s. In a normal figure drawing situation, in all the years that I've taught and when I was a student, I'd say 20 is usually the cap, especially in drawing classes. Usually, for many reasons. First of all, the model. Right now that we're online and you're drawing from photographs most of the time, there could be no cap, depending on how you want to work. But with a real model, with a real person in a room, 20 minutes is usually about the extent of having the model work, right? So I used to do like 20 minutes on for the model working and then like 10 minutes off. So they get like a 10-minute break and then 20 minutes on, 10 off, and so on. Longer poses occur as well, of course. There's painting classes where you'll do 20 minutes on, model takes 10 minutes, and then you do it 20 minutes of the same pose, right? And those kinds of things can go on for weeks. I've seen sessions where the same model is posing for 3 to 6 hours and doing that for 5 or 6 weeks, right? So you can really do a full blown out oil painting as an example. But drawing classes, usually 20, 10, 20 on, 10 off, 20 minutes is usually the cap. And, and that 20 minutes can be broken up however you want. Today, we're going to do a solid 20-minute run on one drawing. I'm going to do something slightly different today. I'm always inspired by the great line that Mrityunjay is getting out of Procreate. Obviously, it's not all the tool, it's also Mrityunjay's hand, all right? His magic hand that's helping that. But I do love the look and feel of that, of this brush that we use in Procreate. So I'm going to go over there and check that out myself today. So that'll be the first time. I think we're going to deal with a little frustration there because that means the reference will probably be a little smaller than you guys are used to. Depending on how much time I have, maybe I'll do a little bit on both. Maybe we'll do a little bit of Photoshop and then do Procreate as well. But I'll definitely be in there. So let's say hello to Mrityunjay. How's it going, Mrityunjay?
Hey, it's going good. Happy New Year
Happy New Year. It's good to see you.
to all the people that are watching us as well. Yeah,
Yes.
because
Yeah.
I'm already in the New Year, so it's 2:04 a.m. It's like 2 hours now. I've been in the New Year, so
Oh, that's right. You're in the future. How? You're in 2022 already.
yeah.
That's right. Cool. Yeah, no Swenley today, everyone. Today, Swenley's a party animal, so he's out there doing his thing for the new year. While Mrityunjay and I are holding down the Force Friday fort. Right.
Yeah.
So let's get to it, right? Let me see if I can get Procreate started here. Just give me a second, and then we're gonna get drawing. Let's see, share my screen. See if I can get you guys over there with me. Okay. All right. I think you guys are seeing Procreate now, right? No, let's see. This is what we want. There we go. Okay. So there we go, right? Yay, I'm in. I'm also, by the way, on a little stand. It was by a company called Galman. I think I posted it on, what do you call, on this YouTube channel. You can see it looks something like this. I'll put it in my camera here. See if I can get it in front of me so you can see it. So it's this little stand. It's got like 6 settings for it, right? I got my iPad sitting on it. A little hard to see, like I said, I'm getting clipped here, but I want you to notice it's like that. So I've just pushed my Cintiq out of the way and brought this little guy in here. And this way it's on an angle, it's stable, it's on the table, right? And I can just focus, right? So we got 20 minutes today. What does that mean, right? Last week, I gave you a little bit more of an overview of, we want to add more structure, more form. We talked about Gibson and we talked about Frazetta and the differences between those 2 amazing artists. Anatomy, of course, is something that can come into play when it comes to adding more information, right? So I'm just gonna go at it, right? Let's see, I'm gonna get my timer to 20. So you guys could do the same, right? Here, you know what I'll do real quick is, let's see, let me get this photograph set up here. And I'll make it really big for a second. Okay, so you guys can see. My suggestion would be take a snapshot of this if you can, if you're on your computer, right? So here's your opportunity to grab it as a large size. Then I'm gonna shrink it down, right? So grab a snapshot and then this way you have it as well on your computer. And then you can draw along with me, right? So here we go, I'm gonna shrink this down again. Shove this all the way into the corner. I want as much room as I can possibly get, right? Now let's create a new layer here. Now, I'm gonna work this up. I'm gonna take my time, right? Actually, what we should do first is some quick sketches, right? Like we talked about before, so let's do that. So the brush, you can see I'm relatively small, not too big. I'm not all the way at black. I'm giving myself some room here, right? Let's see, what's the opacity? I'm at, let's say like 70%. And that maybe, I don't want that, we'll see. I'm just gonna play around and do some like quick, some quick thumbnails, right? This is just me like getting the chance to learn. I'm not timing myself, by the way, right now. I just know that these are gonna be fast. It helps me see, right? It's like, oh, his back is actually more flat than I'm thinking. I gotta keep that in mind. And, and look at the split of the back compared to the other side. Notice that shape, right? So I'm using my time here with the model, with Trinda, to see, right? To see better, to learn, right? I want to get a sense of his knee and its placement compared to his body, right? So I'm looking at that. This is me preparing, right? Because I want to learn here. I want to learn what I need to learn to be able to pull off a successful 20-minute pose. It's a long time, right? I want to make sure that I use my time wisely. So here I am, right? I'm doing these quick sketches. I notice there's an angle in here, right? I want to make sure I get that. It's a tough pose, right? Like I got to be aware of this. I'm just going to place his shoulder as a circle here for now. I just want you to see that I have to be aware of this negative space, right? And I really love his trapezius kind of doing this little S thing that takes us down to his deltoid, right? It's going to get me down here. His elbow is pretty short, right? The upper arm is pretty short and then it angles down. It's going to do this beautiful flow. I got to watch where that lands when I do it. It's like, oh man, I got to get into his neck basically there. I pretty much did it here, fortunately, right? Also challenging pose because very many varied levels of height on the floor plane, right? The perspective plane. It's like, here's his foot, here's his hand, here's his other hand, here's his other foot, right? So when you think of that flatly, two-dimensionally, it's like I have to hit here. This is number 1, 2, 3, 4, right? That matters a lot, right? Why does that matter? Well, because the horizon line is probably up here somewhere, and that's giving us perspective. So the lower you are, or the further away below the horizon you are, the closer you're saying those objects are to you, right? If I put a circle here and then one here and then one here, my brain thinks this one is furthest, this one's medium, and this one's closest, right? So I got to really be aware of the placement of all this. And then of course we have his other arm in here, right? And that's going to make its way down to this beautifully bent wrist as well. That's going over his fingers. And last but not least, we have this very locked in leg, right? Which I could barely make out. It's like his knee is right there and his calf comes out in this very powerful pose with his foot like locked back down there, right? So there it is. Like I walked my way through all of the main things I had to think about. Let's just do it again real quick. See if I now understand all of that better, right? Here's just a quick, again, a quick drawing of what I just experienced. All right, it's like, where's that arm? The arm is short. I want to get this over here. I want to get that foot down, right? Get that perspective on that, get the perspective on that. His other hand's going to be there. I got to make sure I place that correctly. All right, here's his head looming out over all this. I've got that far leg is coming down through his body to his knee, and then boom, slapping down that foot, right? I got to be aware of the proximity of that, right? Compared to this, like his foot compared to the close hand, right? So man, there's a lot of stuff to track, right? A lot of positive and negative spaces. I'm going to do my best to try to get them right. But there it is. So I feel pretty comfortable about that. Let's go it again, except I'm going to hit the timer this time. Give myself 20 minutes here. Ritunjay, in the meantime, run the chat if anyone has any questions while we're working.
Sure.
Okay, here's 20 minutes. There we go. All right. So what I'm going to do for the 20 is I'm going to increase the brush a little bit and make it lighter because I have a lot of placement stuff to take care of. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of rough this out gently. A lot of stuff to get right. Force is driving it, right? I'm placing things, but the flow is helping me get to those locations, right? So even though I might draw the shoulder, right, and I'm like, oh, it's here, but I know that, force is coming over the back, the trapezius is sweeping down here. I see his elbows on this angle over here, and then it sweeps down, right? I want to get his foot here. So gently working this up. Got to get his head to like block his back over there, right? Got his far shoulders inside his head. You always want to draw through, you don't draw through. I got to tell you, it is so easy to just mess up because you don't think about how things look on one side or the other side of another blocked object unless you actually go through the blocked object, right? And that is a very common, very, very common mistake. So here, for instance, I really want to be aware of the pelvis and the roundness of his shorts there. That's something it's the first time I'm really investigating that. I'm like, I want that roundness. I want to really understand how his knee gets all the way over here, right? So we get into that knee and then his calf is here. I got to get this arm over here too to help me block. So it's like that. And then I know that I got to get that hand and that foot close to one another, right? So something like that. We're going to have these fingers going this way. I got to watch the placement of that hand compared to this hand. All using force though, right? Force, a little bit of form, right? A little bit of form. Trying to bring those two together. I haven't gotten too much into shape yet, right? Notice I'm forming things out and the form is starting to develop the shapes, right? You see I'm structuring out his body and its roundness, and that's starting to give me the shape of his body, right? So this can get muddy really fast, and I'm feeling that. So I'm going to start making the brush a little smaller. I'm going to leave the opacity where it is because I know I could just dig harder. I've been drawing very lightly on the screen. I can dig in a little harder and just keep that opacity down and start really like sharpening things up. I mean, I want the scale, not the opacity. Let's bring this up. I want the brush scale to come down, right? I'm going to start tying things down, right? I want that roundness in his leg. I really love, the more I look at the specificity in here, man, his hip is like a box, right? Very angular. You see that right there? Interesting. And it's a strong angle down, right? So I got that. I'm going to get his upper body in here. It's interesting, like hump that's right there, right? You can see the musculature of his lower back pushing in there. And then, so now, I'm taking my generic lines and I'm adding more specificity, starting to add some more anatomy, right? This is more like here, right? Let's see his rib cage dig in here a little bit. Whoops. Let me just erase this. I keep wanting to go back to my keyboard to control the brush. That won't do me much good, will it? There we go.
You know the struggles drawing on an iPad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know what? I actually, oh, well, it probably wouldn't work anyway. I have a keypad attached to it, but it's not going to obviously do the same thing that Photoshop will do. I haven't looked at that. I don't know if there's shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts to Procreate. Do you know?
The keyboard shortcuts?
Yeah, the keyboard shortcuts to Procreate.
You mean gesture controls? Just like
Yeah.
yeah, 2 tap for the undo and 3 for the redo. Yeah, these are the general ones.
I mean, like if I hit, I wonder if I hit, like on Photoshop, you have brush keyboard buttons that will increase or decrease the size of the brush, for instance, right? Like I wonder
Yes.
if I could do that in Procreate if I had a keyboard hooked up or not. But I've never seen that,
No, actually, if you have like the Magic Keyboard for the iPad, then yeah, just like a laptop, right? So
Yeah,
you can buy that. Or some people also have this kind of like a small remote control.
yeah.
It's more like a keyboard, and they just like hook up the shortcuts like attached to it. I've seen like some artists use that as well. So
I'll have to try that out. Yeah, I'll have to see if I can make that work. I've never tried that. So like I said, I'm tightening up information is what I'm doing right now, right? I'm starting to shape things out and make sure that they're working, right? There, I hit Command Z. That's not gonna do anything. There. I really love, to me on the shoulder, there's always this like peak, this edge I just drew there, right? I like that that's there. I want to be aware of this is really digging in here. You can see this traps coming up over there, really like that. And his collarbone comes out of here like this. So the reason I'm zooming in, I consider it okay, is I've got the big picture down, right? Where you don't want to zoom in, where it gets to be real trouble is if you do that too early, right? Then that's not good because you could lose a sense of what's going on, right? And that's bad news. So this arm, it feels like this arm is slightly going away, actually. I could see the edge of his deltoid here in his arm. And we got his forearm coming out. And there's negative space actually in here. I got to watch. Very tight negative space. And he's sweeping back like this with his hand, and it needs to be lower, right? So I'll have to do some fixing in here, obviously. But let's get this hand kind of down here. And I just noticed that this is too close, right? Let's go in there and do a little bit of repair work. I'm just going to lightly get rid of this and kind of push things around a little bit more. So what's going wrong, right? I got this. This looks pretty good with the elbow, right? This is down here, and I need to get, I see my calf is, I think is too far to the right. I'm angling too strongly. right? I have to get this, basically what I'm doing is I'm looking at this shape, right? You see that? I want to try to get that shape right and still be forceful, right? So again, you can see they don't have to detract from one another. The idea of working with force and still measuring and looking at shape and positive, negative space, right? Like I need this and this to feel like it's far enough away. And his ankle's about here. It's like that. Right. All right. Of course, I had to pick an extremely difficult pose. That's fine. I'm still too close. Still keep pushing myself over here. See, I really want his thumb to be about here. I need to just get this over here, which means I got to push this. This arm feels good. The foreground arm feels good. All right, I'm going to keep going because I don't want this whole thing to be about just trying to nail the accuracy. I'm going to keep going here. I'm pretty close at this point. What I want to do is get into more of the detail stuff so you can see that. This foot's very flat back there. I'm going to make the brush a little smaller again because I'm going to the face. All right. Any notes or comments, Swimley?
No, not for.
I mean,
Not yet.
Mrityunjay, sorry.
No, everyone's talking about the screen protector or the Procreate shortcuts.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
All those fun technical issues. So I do have a screen protector on, by the way, for those of you that are interested. Yeah, I do have one on here. Just adds a little bit of grip, you know, instead of the total smoothness of the glass. Yeah, it's a good point. I totally forgot I even have it, to tell you the truth, but now that you bring it up, I do.
Is it like a scratch magnet?
What do you mean by scratch? Oh, do you mean does it cause a lot of scratching?
Yeah.
Do I have a lot of scratching? No, I don't think so. I've had it for a while, and yeah, no, it seems fine. I couldn't even tell you what brand it is because I bought it so long ago. It's been a few years now. But it's one of the more popular ones. I do remember it being like a pretty generic one that a lot of artists use. So nothing too fancy or new there.
Might be paper-like.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly. So you'll notice I'm far from drawing black, and yet look how dark the lines get, right? So that's giving me plenty of room to get in there and use my pressure to create blackness if I want it. If I want it, and yet, you know, draw smaller and thinner, right? I think a lot of artists, you know, part of the problem is just the tool, right? It's like how to use it. I mean, look, what am I at here? I'm at like 38%, right? Go figure, right? Yeah, look at what happens when I press down. So you can see how that's working, right? So I'd kind of draw my technique for the foot is to get that shape in there, as you can see. It's kind of like this with the ball of the foot sticking out here. And then I'm going to sort of generically at first break down the toes. So I got the big toe, right? And then I can get in there and draw more of the knuckles and all that other stuff. But then I'll break down the shape. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And then if with time, I would go in there and add more detail, to all that, which by the way, I love. I love drawing hands and feet. Really, really enjoy that. Tunjai's been doing an amazing job of studying hands and feet of late, actually. So you may have seen some of his posts on his Instagram account. If you want to go check out, learn some stuff about hands, for instance, there's some amazing stuff there. Let's see.
Hands and feet are addictive.
Yeah, they really are. Once, the better and better you get at drawing the figure, you actually want to be challenged with complication, and hands and feet are just so awesome. There's so many moving parts, really fun to do that work. Right. Can't see what's going on in there. I see that's the shorts of his back leg, I guess. All right, so it's kind of more like this. And his lats and his side are probably here like this. I really want all this energy from his spine coming up over the side like this. I'm purposely going to put a bunch of lines over here right now because I'm not going to put them into the leg, and that'll help the leg pop, pop forward, come forward, right? Because I'm putting all this like grayscale information basically behind the leg, right? So you'll notice the edge of that leg will start coming out. I'll get rid of that line inside the leg in a minute. It's probably just a sort of a Procreate accident there, or an iPad accident. And if I wanted to, I could start rendering this into tone, literally just by using the line, right? I don't think I'll go too far into that right now, but I just want you to be aware you do have the ability to do that with force line. That's a lot of what Gibson and Frazetta were doing. They were pushing scale and render right through sculpting, which is pretty awesome. So you can see that leg is starting to really come out. Let's get rid of this annoying little line. And here, I'm not going to push as much of that grayscale. I'll do everything more with like edges of anatomy to preserve a lighter shape. Really get to feel, what I'm seeing is a sense of the roundness from here to here, right? You see that back and forth, there's like this whole volume that's going on there now because of the sculpting, and then coming over the back, down into the shoulder, right? There's all this movement going this way. And then that's going down his arm. You can see I did this as a very quick shape, but look at his hand. Like, look at that finger, right? Very cool. It's like, here's the hand. It's coming from the forearm, and it's sweeping this way. And you can see his thumb do a little flip there, right? Nice little rhythm. And I'll usually try to grab like the knuckle line like this, right? And then go off of that and then figure out what the fingers are doing, right? Like this is coming down like this, and you can see it hitting over here in his hand, and it's like popping out, and then it's reversing at the fingertip, like so. See? So that's like the general forceful shape of it. You can see the webbing between his fingers right there. And then this finger is doing the same thing. It's arcing that way to drive down into the finger. And I'm also, what I'll normally do is I'll map out the angles of where the fingertips are going to touch. You see, so that kind of makes its own abstract shape, right? It's like this. So that's almost like what I did before with the placement of the feet and the hands, right? Like I want to be aware of where that stuff lands, and the height is a big deal. So I guess if anything you get out of today, hopefully you understand the importance of how things are placed in perspective, right? I'm gonna make my brush a little smaller again, just to get some nuance in here. This finger's going this way more. Right? So that's a really quick rough, but I just want you to see the stuff that, you know, I go through when I'm trying to map this stuff out. All right, so we want to get like that finger there, there, and there. Smaller, thinner brush, of course, you know, would allow me to get more and more detail in here. I'm almost out of time. So 20 minutes, right? You can see 20 minutes can go by pretty darn fast, right? But at least hopefully what you got out of this is I got a face in there. I started working on the hands. We got more detailed information in here, right, than we normally do in our other 4 sessions. All right, cancel. There we go. Okay. So there we are, right? 20 minutes got me to this place. Another 20 minutes or half an hour, and I'd get even more anatomy, more detail, maybe even play with the lighting based on the structure, you see. Okay, I'm gonna hand it over to Mrityunjay. Let me get over here back to Zoom. There we go. Let's get back to Photoshop first here. Okay. And then Mrityunjay, let's give you control.
Yep.
All right, ready when you are.
All right. Right. Start here, yes. We can see, right?
Yes, you are on.
All right. So because we are doing 20 minutes today, sorry, I just got a cold last night, so my voice would be a little bit heavier. But either way, so because we're doing 20 minutes today, so I'm just gonna put like a lot of form lines, right? I'm just gonna do some sculpting as well. So I thought it might be just a good idea to set up a different approach, so that's why I have this kind of like gray value, to my page versus always have like this white. So let's get to it. So this would be the photograph again. I'm just gonna, and Mike gave this awesome idea of expanding first. Whoops. Uniform. Yeah. So you guys can like screen gap if you want, and this is like your chance to see the big picture, right? All right. So if you have done it, then you can shrunk it down. Trying to have as much space as I can. I'll put it here, and let's get to it. No. So yeah, that's a brush that I use. If you're curious about this big graphite, all the members on the website can, yeah, just go to the supply section and can download this one. And I recently, not recently, but I would say 4 to 5 months, I've been like doing drawings with this brush. Before this, I was using this, right? It's this like very, very soft, but I'm just kind of addicted with this like big graphite, and you would know why, just in a moment. All right, so let's get to the drawing now, really, really quickly. So what's unique about this pose? The thing is that squish of the back, first of all, that he's doing it with his back, right? There's a lot of potential for detail, right? A lot of potential for detail, anatomy in there, which is I really like. The second thing I like is the upper torso and the lower torso is like on an angle contrast, right? So it's very, very good. Um, all right, without much talking, I'll just like get to it. So the first thing that I usually cover is the shoulders, right? The relationship between both the shoulders and the angle of it, right? So I want to get that. And then what I'll try to do is get that angle, right? This angle, right? Basically this angle. So he's pushing out. Okay, the thing is he's trying to push out a little bit. I'm using shape for for the real function, for the accurate function. So this is what's happening, right? He's pushing out his chest. You can actually see his pectoralis, right there. Yep, right there you can see his pectoralis. So that will be considered my curve, right? Because he's pushing out this way. And then, yeah, this would be considered my straight. So I try to get this straight a little bit more organicness like that. And something like this, right? So I'm getting this angle, which is pretty good. In this angle, right? All right, now what's happening? Okay, I'm moving forward with this. And you can see like he's having this pretty narrow waist, Obviously trained as a lean model, but with this view, his shoulder side becoming even more wider and his like pelvis is becoming even more narrower, So that's a cool little trick, if you want to exaggerate the pose. For right now, we're just going for more and more accuracy. But that's something to know, if you want to exaggerate or something. Now, thing is, again, as I mentioned, the uniqueness about this pose is obviously the squish at the back, So I want to get that a little bit. Oops, sorry for that. I have cold, but either way. So see, I'm darkening this part up because that's like really, really important part of the story. Okay, so I just want to get that, and you can see like I'm doing it all with force, right? It's just that the speed is there, even though like it's 20 minutes, it's like we're just like chilling in there. But the thing is, you don't forget that there's like a certain speed that you need to work with in order to like pull out the force out of it, right? Um, so I'm just like getting this, right? Quickly just blocking out like where the arm would be with forces. This would be the deltoid, right? The elbow in there. Just trying to get this really quick gesture. Now see the force is coming right here, okay, from the front, right there from the front. So it's gonna like go to the back a little bit. Yeah, right this. I'm just gonna put like a more of a straight side on this one, right? It's like that. So I'm not gonna do this again, because that would be a kill force if you use like a symmetrical shape in there. So I'm just gonna do this, like making the full cylinder like that. Either way, if you don't want to spend time on like the one figure, basically you can do studies just like Mike showed. It's more like thumbnailing first, uh, and just figure out if things are working or not, and then you can go with the full-on figure in those 20 minutes. I'm spending because Mike showed you that process. I'm just showing you like how the full figure would be, like just working directly onto the one figure, how it would work. Okay. All right, so getting some form in there, obviously, because he's wearing underwear. Always says this that underwears are cheating because it gives you a lot of information really, really quickly. So you can use that. I'm just like completing these, these arms and the legs with more shape. Now making it smaller. I just want to get this angle right. And you can see how fluid his legs is. It's almost like he has having like no joints. It's just like whoosh, like one sweep. So, and basically I can say the line of action, if I just want to put it, it would be something like that, something like this, like one full sweep. All right, either way, so the leg is all front, right? Also, that's what's giving it this very fluid curve, right? And then it's hitting into the back of the heel. It's more like a sliding function of the feet, function of the leg. This leg, many people do it like an outside into the outside, but obviously remember that the force is never on the hamstring side of things. Okay, so this is a front to the back force like that. Now what? Yeah, getting some information here and there. I just want to put in the knee. Okay, so knee would be right there. Right, putting in more information. See, the secret is first deal with the big picture. Okay, even if you have 20 minutes, don't think like, okay, I just like to have to focus on small ideas and then you will make the whole figure, right? So really focus on this big picture first. Okay, that's the secret. Now, getting the block out of the head done quickly like that. Uh, and I guess we have dealt with the big picture. Now we can go in and zoom in a little bit and go on over the details. Okay. And fix things, if you want, we can fix things up. See, for this would come until here. Uh, yep. Now, as I said, the phase is the polishing phase, basically. Okay. I'm not gonna darken everything up. That's one of the things. You still gotta respect the line language. Okay. The language you're speaking. Okay. So I'm darkening this part up because that's the hero of the story. Okay. I want to make a focus in there. That's why I'm darkening it up. Whatever the time is, it's like 3 hours. Even if you do like a drawing for 3 hours, that's completely fine. Okay, don't forget the line language in there. I can put some anatomy in here, right? This would be the trapezius. This is what causing the squish in there. Yep. All right, getting the ear with this. See, I'm using, first I use the shade, right, to block out, and I'm giving it more organicness. All right, giving this a thumb. Still doing it with the act of force, as you see, I'm not going for the super accurate details and everything. Something like that. Now with this hand, it's really easy, just a thumb in there. See, I can go over in more detail. I can just like zoom it in at this level, okay? But again, my idea should just divide, okay, in levels. It's like, okay, this is, first of all, this is the level that I need to work on. And then I'm on my second level right now. And if I get like more time, then I can just like zoom in at that stage, okay? All right, something like this, right? That's the tricep and everything. That's the elbow. Okay, I got the pectoralis, which is already good. Whoops. That's again the accidental thing, because when you tap like twice on the Apple Pencil, it switched to rubber. But you can turn this off, either way. All right, get this thing going on. Right, really want some more pressure in there. And now you know why I'm a big fan of this brush, because as you can see, I'm really not controlling my opacity here. The opacity is controlled really by my hand pressure itself. So this brush is nice. All right, giving this some form again. Oops, giving it some more form. Okay, so we got very little information in the legs. Okay, I'm just gonna jump it in and give it some more information. Here's the calf, right in there. So front to back, and this would be a straight, but I just give it more organicness in there. Something like this. I'm still, I'm still doing this a little bit of sculpting lines, obviously. And then I can zoom it in there. Yeah, I mean, I don't need to see like the feet, right? At this particular angle. Uh, I know how the feet looks like this, in this angle, right? So I can just like quickly complete that, like here. So, and let's see what's happened with the other leg. So I just want to get this negative space, right? As you can see, I'm just like, whoops, iPad accidents. Getting, whoops. Oh, that's got to turn off that feature. All right, so trying this negative space in here. This is like really tensed heel, as you can see. And getting this, yeah. All right, now what? Now just gotta do some like sculpting, maybe a little bit. And how much time we got? About 5 more minutes. Okay, so let's try to get it in. 5 minutes are like enough. So if this would be a front facing, like the front facing pose, I'll try to give it like more, like more face. Right now it's okay, right? That amount of information is good at this pose, for this moment. Sorry. All right. So I'll try to get some form in here. Again, my idea is here, right? All lies in here at the back. So oops. Try to get some form lines in there. I'm more of a Frazetta guy than Gibson. Yeah, I just gotta admit that I'm more of a like a Frazetta guy. His sculpting is great. It's like all with a force. So I'm just gonna do the same thing here. You see the force is like going this way through the deltoid and this way through the arm, and then for all the force guys, by the way, for the members on the website or be watching Force Fridays, this is like no brainer, right? They're just like, okay, deltoid and just like one sweep on full sweep through the arm, right? So the force is like really this and this in this right arm. All right, either way, just get some form in here. Yep. And you can get more information. Right now I'm just like doing it very boldly, like over, but we can have like a more bigger resolution page, and then if you zoom in more, then it's gonna give you like more details. Yeah, you can do all those things, and that's what's gonna increase the time, by the way. So I remember like there was one mentee of mine, and she's been doing this like really awesome like force drawings. And when I asked her, like, okay, how much time this takes, she was like, oh, this is like 1 hour. It's like, what? Like 1 hour? It feels like really forceful. Yeah. So it happens. Okay, getting this elbow right in here. More force, more force. All right. Getting some force, getting some form, sorry, in the back like this. Uh, maybe not this direction. I'll try to give it like this kind of direction. So I can say that it's like coming from the chest part and then like wrapping around the back side, that would be far better. Yep, that's the underwear. Um, Something form lines like these would work here. Yep, something like that. See how there's like that underwear is like giving me so much of volume in that pelvis section. something like that. Maybe that won't work. Yeah, this one's good. All right, getting this. I'm just like polishing more, you know. So I was like, okay, here's one more line that would really define the negative space. So I just like put it in. All right. You can get a lot of information in the legs here, right? That's like very anatomical. Twinder is a very ribbed model, you know, so you see like a lot of muscles. Um, and he's not bulky, he's like lean muscle, you know, so that's why he's pretty great. All right, getting that in. Now, because we are at this stage, okay, at this stage of the drawing, uh, you can, because now you'll see the reason why I have like a little bit of toned paper. Now you can actually go in with the white or maybe or something like that, because we have about, all right, 3 more minutes, you know, so try to get some highlights in here. I actually used to do this, but you know, because we are usually doing like these quick drawings in every Force Friday. I don't think we have done like more of a 10-minute or 20-minute ish drawings, you know, from long time. So I kind of forget this that I used to do this kind of drawings. By having like this great paper and there's like a lot of sculpting going on, you know. Um, but I thought because I had the chance today, I'll show some process how I used to do that. Yeah, some you know some highlights maybe here and there, and that's also with force. You know, I'm not just like putting like a dot or something. You know, that's again that's not for the tone, but yeah, just like a whole another process. I would say something like that. Yeah, maybe here. You can put in arrows if you want, right? You can say, well, this is the force going on in here. This is basically because this is a study, right? You also want other people who are looking at this to understand what's happening. So you can put the arrows in here. One of the cool things that I also do is like drawing in the close-ups. Okay, so if you have 20 minutes, you can draw close-ups. So for example, I didn't got the full opportunity to draw this like very cool hand, right? So what I'll do is like I zoom it up like that, and we still have 1 more minute. So I'll try to get this hand done pretty quickly. So I try to get this like hand done. This is what I've seen, by the way, in those Russian academic drawings. You know, those people used to do this a lot.
Yeah, it's cool to see force not only rendered in black but in white as well. You know, and you could literally paint a forceful painting based on the direction of the strokes of the paint.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I what I used to do sometimes is I used to take like different colored backgrounds. You know, like very red or very blue, and then I try to put in like more neon, colors in there. uh, yeah, so you just try to do some experiment. Don't try to just stick with one approach. It's always better to do experiment, and that's how you find your own voice, by experimenting. But either way, I'm just like doing this hand here like that, something like this, and then how much? Okay, we're almost up. Um, so as you can see, like I'm drawing that hand, so the hand. Whatever the time is left to you, try to use it. Okay, even if it's less like 30 seconds, try to get some. You can use this tricks, right? You can, if you're drawing digitally, you can use like different colors, or you can put the arrows in there, or you can try to make the zoomed version of the studies. I mean those parts, zoomed in studies of those parts, and things like that. Okay. All right, time's up. Yeah. So, what are we doing? Sorry, what are we doing in the 5 minutes, Mike?
I think we're going to talk about next year.
All right. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Let's jump into Photoshop now.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Mrityunjay.
Yeah, very welcome.
So we have a few minutes left. Like I said, it's here. You know, we're at the end of our year. Wanted to brainstorm with you guys actually a little bit on next year, right? Since we got our, I would say probably our most dedicated people here today. Let's talk. There were some ideas in the chat I thought that were really good. Redacted brought up the idea of clothing. Mrityunjay and I happen to be working on that pretty diligently right now. So I think clothing for next year would be great. Obviously we'd barely do anything on animals. I think there's animals, clothing. I'd love to do, yeah, I was gonna say, I'd love to do more on character design. Let's see. Yeah, I'm just reading redacted. Though I'm glad I could recommend the suggestion, folds and fabrics are vital for giving clothing character. Yes. Yeah, more animal stuff, as Sergio said. So I think these are three really big ones. I personally would like to also get more into like finished work and the phases to get to that finished work. You know, based off of force as a foundation. Drawing from imagination. Yeah, very good. Finished work and the.
You should take like different colored backgrounds, you know, like very red or very blue, and then I try to put in like more neon colors in there. So you just try to do some experiment. Don't.
Head templates. I haven't checked if there is a Force Friday. We did one on some facial expressions and some head stuff, but I think head in general is always good. Yep. Lip sync. I'll put that under head. That's even more niche. Lip sync. I would say lip sync and shape and how that all works. Artist block. We probably have done something like that, but I wouldn't mind returning to that sort of psychology stuff, right? Yeah, rendering. So that's what I was saying before. I think maybe some more finished work would be awesome. That's something you guys don't normally get to see from us. And admittedly, I know for me, I barely even ever get to do just because of my time, but I think it'd be interesting to see where that goes. Yeah, process of finished work, exactly as Anna said. So that's a pretty good list. Man, that right there is going to probably take us the first 3 to 5 months of 2022. Again, if you ever have something else you want to suggest, my email is just mike@drawing. Right, our website that we all teach at is drawingforce.com. Just in case you don't know that. By the way, and this goes, I think, by my time zone. I'm in Pacific Standard Time. There is a discount right now for mentorship with us. So the code is new mentee, no space, new mentee 2021. So if you go to drawingforce.com and you go to mentorship page, and you go to the 12 session package, it's only for the 12. You have to be a new student, not somebody who we're already teaching. And I don't mean only in mentorship. You could be somebody who's a premium member or standard. And if you want to bump up to mentorship, if you type in new mentee when you get to the checkout page, this will save you $400. I've never discounted mentorship. Today is literally the last day. Tomorrow it's over. So today's the last day for this discount. So go check out drawingforce.com, go to the mentorship page. There's a huge page there on that hopefully will answer any questions you have about mentorship. If you decide to buy the 12 session package, that means you're buying 12 sessions with us. You save $400. And like I said, that's only going to last another, 8 to 10 hours or so. Okay. So check that out. Right. That's the first time I've been teaching online for about 7 years now. It's the first time I've discounted mentorship. Okay. I know everyone's having a tough time with COVID and all, so I'm trying to give you guys a little break. So yeah, check it out. I noticed there was a couple of other things in here which were cool. Finish work, direction, yeah, styles, that's a good idea. Let's talk about styles. Color theory, maybe we'll put that into the finished work. Color theory. Color theory, figure, and oh yeah, I want to do that. I've been really working with mentored students actually on how to place figures in perspective and composition, right? So figs in perspective and composition. That's another really big one. I do teach composition, by the way. Most people don't know that, but I love composition. I love film and games, and I've been teaching composition for almost 20 years. So head templates, I mean, essentially just head shapes without any work on the face and connecting. I see. Well, head shapes, Delano, usually will work its way into character design, right? So there's opportunity there. And you were saying also to connect to body. And how do you make them forceful shapes, you know? Perspective on the body. Yeah, that's always a good foundation one. Perspective on body. Wow, this is great. Awesome list, guys. Just cranked this out. Yeah, composition, I think, is a great one too. All right, so that takes us to time. So thank you, right? Thank you very much for the list. Thank you for being here with us on the last session of 2021. You know, and thank you for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe, of course, and hit the bell button to get notified for upcoming meetings. As you can see by this list, I think we have a lot of really awesome content that'll be coming out in 2022 to support you guys, right? So thank you for the list. We will go through this. You know, we meet every Wednesday, and we'll start picking and choosing through here and try to get through everything that's on here. So just give us time, but we will do that. So be safe, have a great time tonight, or unless you already have celebrated. And we will see you guys next year, right? Thank you, Mrityunjay, for helping today. And happy New Year in the future there. And I'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you in the future.
Yes. Take care, guys. Happy New Year. Bye-bye.
Bye.